white-only community trending on all over the internets. This community here was started in October 2023. A group called Return to the Land, RTTL, led by Eric Orwell, established a 160-acre white-only settlement in the Ozark Mountains near Ravendine, Arkansas. Hopefully I pronounced that correctly. The community explicitly excluding whites, Jews, non-Christians, blacks, and LGBTQ individuals has sparked national controversy due to its discriminatory practices. RTTL claims its private membership association, PMA, status and LLC-based land ownership structure allow it to bypass civil rights and housing laws, such as the Fair Housing Act of 1968, the settlement housing about 40 residents, is planning expansion into Missouri and potentially other states. So let's dive into it, man. And let me know what you guys think about this whites-only community.
White supremacists has founded a 160-acre settlement in the Ozark Hills for white people only, and it's called Return to the Land. It was set up in 2023 by two men named Eric Orwell and Peter Cesare, and it explicitly bans Jewish people, LGBTQ individuals, and anyone who isn't a white Christian of European descent. In this case, it turns out Jews are not considered white after all. Now, this white-only town is vetting members through interviews and ancestry screening, and only those who can prove European roots are allowed in. Right now, about 40 people live there full-time, but hundreds more around the world have already paid for membership. And once accepted, members can buy land, but instead of traditional deeds, they're sold LLC shares tied to private plots. The group claims that this loophole lets them bypass civil rights housing laws. Well, joining us now is Gerard Filietti. He's a senior counsel at the Lawfare Project. So, can a community like this legally use LLC shares in a private members association to avoid civil rights housing laws? Are they going to be able to get away with this in modern America?
It's very unlikely that they will be able to get away with this in modern America, precisely because this runs afoul of anti-discrimination laws, federal anti-discrimination laws, and potentially state ones as well. Now, you can have a private organization that does discriminate. As unsavory as and disgusting as that may be, in America, you can associate with people whom you choose. But when you're holding yourself out to the public, when you're opening yourself up for a membership, and especially when you are constructing or selling housing, then you have to comply by anti-discrimination laws. And that means that you can't limit who you sell to, even if they're trying to structure this in a clever manner.
So what's interesting about this is you see segregation in plenty of communities, plenty of cities throughout the country. You know, it's not like it's a legal situation. They're already doing segregation in certain communities to keep a certain community together or certain communities together. I mean, you see it. God, I've been to several Chinatowns throughout the country, and it's predominantly, you know, Chinese people or Asian people there. I don't have a problem with it. I'm just saying that you have communities like that, but I guess how they're trying to circumvent the Civil Rights Housing Act is through this LLC. I guess we'll see if they're able to continue doing this. But here goes part of the interview. Well, the first interview that I saw, and then there was a subsequent interview to that. So let's take a quick look at this first interview that I saw.
What we've done here is establish a place where we have control over who our neighbors are, and that is just for the sake of preserving, you know, our culture.
And that culture, effectively, we're saying this is a white culture, a whites-only place.
White American culture.
Over the last year and a half, high up in the Ozark Hills in the state of Arkansas, dozens of people have been working hard, leveling the land, building houses. They call it an intentional community based around shared ancestry, a long-winded way of saying something really quite simple.
I think we would generally be called far right, sure.
It's called Return to the Land, and they invited me in.
A lot of people are going to be, why are you making Nazi references?
Right. Well, why wouldn't I?
A seemingly bucolic and sometimes surreal experience. But this is built on a radical modern premise, made possible because of a new political and technological moment. one with strong ties to the most active far-right groups in the US. Instead of taking to the streets, they are building their own, for generations to come.
It's important for me to do this for my ancestors, my friends, my family, my children, my children's children.
But in this southern US state, people who have lived through segregation once fear it is returning.
When you hear things like that, it causes you to be fearful. And you don't know who to trust.
Its founder is building a fortress for the white race.
It's a racial association. I kind of want to ask you, after seeing this, do you think what we're doing is immoral?
Want a white nation? Build a white town. It can be done, and we're doing it.
It is an extreme view, but it draws on more familiar arguments. That mass immigration is out of control, that Western societies are in danger of losing their fundamental character as a result.
So one of the arguments here is that this isn't about persecution of an ethnic identity, but protection of an ethnic identity, and that identity happens to be white. So we're going here now up into these pretty remote woods.
All the locals I spoke to knew only a little about the group, if anything.
I don't necessarily agree with it, but that's not my choice.
Yeah, but do you think they should have the freedom to do it?
That's what they want to do.
I think it's kind of a little fishy around here, but just be safe.
What we've done here is establish a place where we have control over who our neighbors are, and that is just for the sake of preserving, our culture.
And that culture, effectively, we're saying this is a white culture, a whites-only place.
White American culture. Yeah, not just white, but white American.
But what this sounds like is bringing back segregation. Is that a fair assessment?
Well, it's free association. So we're not trying to keep other people down. This is a small settlement in the middle of the Ozarks.
But they are being kept out.
You don't let everyone into your home.
160 acres taking shape, forest cleared, roads laid, cabins built. Around 40 people live here. Hundreds more from across the world have paid to be members. And I'm intrigued to find out what motivates people to give up their old lives for this.
We met here.
Oh, you met here? I guess he came here.
I met her on day 3. So.
Yeah. Oh my God, what a story. It beats Tinder, doesn't it?
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
David and Caitlin not only met here, they got married last month. And they wouldn't be here without social media.
Somebody had posted a video of Eric.
Yeah.
I saw videos of them actually building stuff on the land. I was like, oh man, I gotta come check this out.
And I figure if there's nothing else like this in the country, it should at least exist.
Yeah.
Do people really think that we should never be able to choose our neighbors?
It wouldn't be controversial for any other racial group to do the same thing.
I think it'd be quite controversial.
Well, if you don't have rules against it, then, anyone of any race can come and be your neighbor, and they're watching the news, which is telling you that white people are, the cause of all your problems and all the ills of society, and suddenly, your children are much less safe because there's a lot of violence, anti-white violence happening to white people and white children. And so
specifically sort of motivated by racism against white people. What sort of things the heavens are about to
I'd like to continue talking. To join RTTL, you have to sign up to the Private Members Association, or PMA. And there are strict criteria for membership, as Scott Thomas, a board member and one of the founding fathers here, explains.
You have to be a PMA member to live here.
Yeah.
So you have to be someone of European heritage.
The group's logo, based on a Nordic rune, draws on that heritage. It is the PMA that the group believes makes this all legal. Once members have been vetted on ethnicity and other grounds, they can buy shares in the Limited Liability Company, or LLC. Those shares translate to acres of land that they can build on.
Civil Rights Act is there for a reason, and this is a way around it.
Yeah,
Do you think it'll survive contact with the legal system, the courts, if it came to that?
hopefully.
Do you think it's racist or not? Do you reject that term? Do you embrace it?
I don't know about that term. I mean, people use it in a lot of different ways. I'm sure there's a lot of people on the internet who would call me racist. I don't really know or care whether that term applies to me or not. Maybe.
Scott, what do you think?
Yeah, I almost don't know what racist means anymore. Like it's you call it racist.
There's a prejudice towards someone who's from a different ethnicity.
Well, actually, the modern definition of racism, according to critical race theory, all white people are racist automatically.
A lot of this is reaction to left-wing identity politics, critical race theory, and movements like Black Lives Matter. And fundamentally, this is identity politics, but white identity politics. And what they're building here is a safe space for people of European ancestry.
So you have a situation here where these people have fatigue. I know that's been a word that's been thrown around a lot lately, but obviously these people have fatigue and they want to preserve their European culture. Do you agree with this? Personally, I don't agree with this. But what I do know is there is segregation throughout the country, right? You have communities where there's only one type of what type of nationality, or it seems as if there's one type of nationality, or predominantly, you know, if it's not 100%, it appears that it is. I mean, go to any Chinatown throughout the country, and no one I know has a problem with Chinatown, and not you know, they're not protesting or doing anything against Chinatown. But I get the difference. I do know the difference here. Chinatown is not excluding anyone like these people are. But I've actually talked to people, and I've actually talked to realtors that say sometimes, you know, a seller or a realtor in a particular community will not show. They won't show a particular property, let's say in a Chinatown, because they know it's predominantly Chinese or Asian. They won't show it to someone that is not Asian. I've had those conversations in the past. So it's interesting. It's interesting. Let's go to Harvey Levin, man. He actually of TMZ. He actually speaks to the leader of this organization, and let's see what they have to say to him.
Welcome back to TMZ Live. There is a community in Arkansas that invites whites only. It is a white-only community. And there is talk now that there may be other communities in other states, like in Appalachia, other places, the Pacific Northwest, where this could expand to. The person who has created this community in Arkansas is a man named Eric Orwell. And he is joining us right now. Eric, welcome to TMZ Live.
All right, good to be with you. Thanks for the invite.
So, first of all, explain the premise. Why a white-only community?
Well, many white Americans do value their European heritage, and we don't think there's anything wrong with that. Many also are afraid that our identity is under threat from mass immigration, low fertility rates, just cultural changes. And we're not just a racial association. We also value traditional European culture, architecture, music, art. And so we want to create a space where that can be celebrated.
So when we say white only, for example, what if a Jewish person, what if I come in and say, I'd like to join this community?
Well, you're welcome to apply. Admissions decisions are made on a case-by-case basis, and we're not
Not getting
purists
hard.
about this. So if someone has some non-white ancestry, there's a chance they could be accepted. We do view Jewish origins as having their roots in the Near East, and so they wouldn't fall into the category of European heritage.
Why is European heritage the purest form of European heritage, something that you embrace to the exclusion of others?
Well, for something to be what it is, it has to not be other things. I think it's fine if people want to blend and mix and mingle cultures, but I do want cultural diversity to exist. So I want a pure form of Portuguese culture to exist. I want pure Japanese culture to exist in their own respective spheres. So I want a kind of pure European tradition to be maintained somewhere.
That's interesting. He's not opposed to other nationalities doing the same thing that they're doing. That's interesting.
And that's the classic segregationist policy, which we had, up till the early 1960s. So fair to say you're a segregationist.
The major difference is that back then it was forced segregation, and I think that's immoral. Right now, what we have is effective forced integration, and I think that's also immoral. Forcing people to live in ways they don't want to live is the problem. It's not that people may want to voluntarily go their own way. I don't think there's anything morally wrong with that.
I mean, there are clearly people who would say that this is a racist premise and that you are racist for propagating it. What do you say to them?
Well, our association is racial in nature as well as cultural, but we wouldn't identify as racists, and it's not entirely clear what people mean by racist anyway.
So there's actually a community of Black people in Georgia that have done something similar. So I want to go over to that video because, I mean, it's only fair, right? If Black people could do it and there's no pushback, then I would imagine other nationalities should be able to do the same thing. So let's take a quick look.
We are the buying power. If we can just teach each other to circulate our dollars within the community, we will solve our own problems. We are literally the answer to our own problems, but we have to change our thinking and come together. My name is Renee Walters, and I am the president of the Freedom Georgia Initiative. I have a Black husband, I have a Black son. Every time he would leave out for work or just to go to the store or anything, I would have a sense of anxiety just from watching everything that we've been going through lately with the pandemic and watching our Black men being murdered on national television in front of everybody. It kind of just all shook us by storm. It's now time for us to get our friends and family together and build for ourselves. That's the only way we'll be safe. That's the only way that this will work. We have to start bringing each other together. Well, we are looking to get amenities on the land. We want to have a place where you can have weddings, a nice retreat. We'll have tiny homes. We really just want you to come and hang out and feel safe. You don't have to worry about the Karens of the world and anything like that. You just come and have fun. We'll have a sportsman area with fishing, hunting, shooting range, ATV trails. We really just want to build a tight-knit community for our people to just come and breathe together. I know they have a bad stigma that, Black people can't come together, but just like how Black Wall Street, their dollars circulated around 11 times before it left the community. And that's just something we want to bring back. We want to encourage businesses to come, and we want to circulate our dollar within the community before it leaves out to someone else. We want to make everybody in our areas wealthy. Well, every time we go to the land and in the actual cities, like we haven't received any backlash. Everyone is really nice and welcoming. It's the internet trolls, the negativity in the world, like, you guys are gonna fail. Isn't this segregation? This is not what Martin Luther King stood for. And it's not us segregating ourselves. It's just we're building where we can come and be safe. Like, Chinatown has these areas. You go up and down Buford Highway, you can't even read some of the signs because it's not in our language, and nobody has a problem. And why is it that when we want to build, we're considered racist or we're segregating ourselves? Why can't we have our own safe haven? Every community has them. Everyone is welcome in freedom. But it is basically based on seeing Black people flourish. And that's all we want, because every time we tried to, somebody tried to burn it down, or we got some type of backlash, and I'm just tired of that. It's time for us to build our own.
So, what do you think? You have people here who's doing something similar in the Black community. They want their own, but I did see a different interview where the lady said that they were not going to exclude anyone that's not Black. But if you know the foundation of a community is, you know, you're all your white European community, all, you know, Black American community. If you were of the opposite race, or if you were of a nationality that was not European or not Black, would you want to move to those communities anyway? Honestly, I think the problem with the European community is people are afraid that this idea is going to catch on, where it can be exclusionary, right? Where people won't have the rights to move to these communities, and I think that's the problem. I think that this was like an outlier, something that was, I mean, it is. I mean, it's only 40 people there. So will this idea catch on? I think that the thought of the idea catching on and this being, you know, widespread throughout the United States, I think that's what scares a lot of people. So